Welcome to Unbreakable Truth. In today's video, I wasn't looking for anything that night. I wasn't wearing anything special, no makeup, no plan. I wasn't hoping to be seen. I wasn't out to feel wanted. I was wearing worn jeans, a faded sweatshirt, and a soul weighed down by too many months of pretending I was okay. The rain had started earlier that day, soft at first, then angry. Just like the thoughts in my head. I had been renovating the old cabin alone for 3 weeks, the one I got in the divorce, the one no one else wanted because it smelled like rot and had more broken pieces than intact ones. A fixer-upper, much like me. I was 39, divorced, and emotionally unrecognizable to myself. Not sad, not angry, just muted. The kind of numb that makes time feel like static. The kind where joy passes by you like someone else's dream. I told myself healing takes time. That solitude would be empowering. But healing gets lonely. But healing gets lonely. Especially when it's just you and the woods and the ghost of the life you thought you'd have. I'd gotten the property, a legal settlement, and an envelope full of old photographs that no longer felt like home. And while I tried to convince myself that the cabin symbolized a fresh start, all I could see in it was everything broken I had to somehow make livable again. It needed new drywall, new plumbing, new windows, new hope. Ben and Caleb were not contractors. They were just guys, foster brothers who hadn't let the world ruin their bond. I met Ben at the hardware store when I was standing too long in front of the wall stud display, trying not to cry over screws. He had this quiet steadiness, a kindness that didn't feel like pity. He asked if I needed help. I lied and said no. He helped anyway. A few days later, he showed up with Caleb. Caleb was the opposite, unfiltered, warm, wild. Paint-stained jeans, a crooked smile, and the kind of laugh that made something dormant in my chest twitch. He'd tease Ben, tease me, eat half the donuts, complain about my playlist, and still manage to get more done in 2 hours than I could in a day. They started coming every morning. Ben always first. Caleb always late, always with a ridiculous excuse that made me laugh in spite of myself. They brought tools, cheap coffee, and a presence I didn't know I was craving. And though their energy filled the hollow house, they never crossed the line. Not until that night. That night when the rain wouldn't stop and thunder shook the sky like some kind of warning. We'd just finished tearing out the bathroom walls. Dust and sweat still clung to all of us. The power flickered, and the wind made the trees outside sound like they were screaming. The roads were too dangerous to take. Ben said quietly, "There's a motel a couple miles down the ridge. We can wait out the storm there." He said it like it meant nothing. Like it was the logical, responsible thing to do. But the way his eyes lingered on mine made it feel like something was unraveling in that silence between us. I could have said no. I didn't. I wanted out of the cold house and into something warmer. The motel was old, like the kind that hadn't been updated since the late 80s. The sign buzzed like a dying wasp, and the wallpaper inside was peeling like sunburn. One lamp in the corner, 2 beds that creaked like they'd witnessed too much. I only remember one of them. It started innocently. Rain-soaked boots off. Jackets hung on rusted hooks. Caleb cursed at the vending machine for eating his dollar. We laughed. Ben handed me a towel, and when his fingers brushed mine, something cracked in the space between our skin. I didn't let go of his eyes. I didn't want to. Caleb leaned back on the bed and exhaled hard. This night's already weird. Might as well say what we're all thinking. I don't remember thinking. I just spoke. Words I didn't know were waiting inside me spilled out. Only if you take turns. The air changed. I felt it. like something holy was standing in the doorway, waiting for permission to enter. Ben's jaw tightened. Caleb sat up slowly. I stopped breathing, and then Ben stepped closer. It didn't feel like lust. It didn't feel like desire. It felt like exhale. Like two people, no, three, finally allowed to put down the weight they'd been carrying. Their hands didn't grab. They held. My body didn't freeze. It melted. I felt sacred. Not sexy. Not used. Sacred. They moved around me like they'd rehearsed this choreography in another life. One kissed my shoulder. The other traced the line of my spine. My breath hitched, not out of fear, but recognition. I had forgotten what it felt like to be touched like that. Like I was something soft and rare, something deserving of reverence. No one claimed me. No one owned me. They shared me, carefully, deliberately, like they knew I was still healing, still stitched together with thread too thin to tug too hard. And I gave in. Not because I was lonely, but because in that moment I wasn't. For the first time in what felt like years, I was seen. Fully. Stripped not just of clothes, but of shame. Fulls. Of timelines and expectations. I didn't sleep that night. I laid in the stillness of the motel room, heart pounding against the silence I didn't know how to fill. The kind of silence that follows truth. The next morning, they were gone. No text, no knock, no engine in the driveway. Just gone. I waited. One day. Then two. By the third, I couldn't take the ache anymore. I drove into town, walked into the hardware store with trembling hands, pretending I needed nails I already had. Ben saw me first. He looked like sleep hadn't come easy for him either. "You okay?" he asked. I looked down. "I don't know," I whispered. He nodded. "Caleb hasn't said much either." "Maybe we broke something," I said. "Or maybe we uncovered it," he replied. That week they came back. No apologies. No explanations. Just drills, paint, and donuts with too much powdered sugar. But everything felt different. Every glance held too long. Every brush of fingers sparked something dangerous. Every task was a loaded silence. One night, Ben reached over me in the kitchen, arms over my shoulder, his chest flush against my back. I turned too fast. We were face to face, breath to breath. My back hit the counter. His lips parted. Neither of us moved. 10 seconds passed like thunder rolling through the forest. Then he stepped back like it hurt him to do it. Caleb found me outside later, staring at the sky. "You scare me," he said. "Why?" "Not because I don't want you, because I do. Too much." The tension was unbearable. We tiptoed around each other like we were afraid to shatter what was left. Until one rainy Sunday. No tools, no music. Just the three of us on the floor of the unfinished living room with a bottle of bourbon and too many ghosts. I finally said it. "We can't keep circling this." Ben didn't move. Caleb looked at the floor. I stood up and walked to the kitchen, needing space, knowing they'd follow. I turned. They were there. Ben reached for me first. His hand against my cheek, steady, asking. Caleb close behind me, warmth radiating like a second heartbeat. "Only if you want this," Ben said. "I do," I whispered. God help me, I did. That night was slower. Not storm-driven, not chaotic. It was a choice. The most human, reckless, soul-shaking choice I've made in a decade. They kissed me like they meant it, like they were writing love letters with their lips across every inch of skin I had forgotten was beautiful. We didn't speak afterward, just laid there, tangled in the stillness, breath on breath, hearts out in the open. 3 days passed. Silence again. Then Ben showed up. Alone, pale with exhaustion but eyes clear. "I don't regret it," he said, "but I don't know what happens now." Neither did I. We finished the cabin eventually. Every nail, every beam, every painted wall, all of it touched by memory. They promised to keep it clean. I nodded. But inside, nothing felt clean. It felt raw. Real? Honest? When they finally drove away, separate tracks, no waves, no words, I stood barefoot on the porch, mug gone cold, heart nowhere near ready to settle. Weeks later, I found the note, folded under a smooth stone by the front step. No names. No return address. Just this: we didn't leave because we wanted to. We left because we didn't want to break you more. But if you ever want us, really want us, you know where to find us. I haven't gone after them. Not yet. But I haven't thrown the note away either. Some wounds you don't heal from. You just carry them. Some nights aren't mistakes. They're just truth wearing a fragile dress. And maybe that night wasn't the end. Maybe that was the beginning of something I still don't have the courage to name.